So what's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan from Freedom Foods Farm, and today you can see that we're in the greenhouse. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to plant, we're going to continue to grow our perennial food forest, permaculture garden, whatever you want to call it. You see, we've been here 2 years and I haven't really started a garden. We've harvested a couple jalapeno peppers and that's kind of about it, because I like doing the whole gardening thing, but I don't like all the work that goes behind it. What I don't like is having to replant every year, replant every year, replant every year. It goes against kind of every nature in my being and just the way my mind works. Because what I'd rather do is I'd rather do one thing one time and just manage throughout the rest of basically forever, rather than, you know, oh, it's time to plant tomatoes this year, it's time to plant Brussels sprouts. Oh shoot, you know what? It got a little bit too late for us to plant Brussels sprouts here. We have to wait till next year. That's too much work. You know, a lot of people will go get a rototiller and have to till up their garden. They have to go and prepare the soil. They have to do a whole bunch of stuff. That doesn't seem enjoyable to me. That seems like too much work. So what is my solution to that? It's to plant things that'll come back each and every year. Perennials that, you know what, will grow, produce food for us. We give it a little bit of mulch maybe once or twice a year, let the rain water it, and we just eat. Not have to, you take out all the work, you do the work one time, and you're done. See, so far what we have planted here is what the Texas boy sent us, and a lot of it's starting to really take. You can see these are goji berries here, this is elderberry here, blackberry, mulberry, and these are figs here, and you can see they're starting to root. You can tell that they're rooting because look at the green that's popping out of it. It's really starting to grow. Now the figs, they're starting to come along too, but the thicker the wood, the longer it's going to take. The mulberries, you can see, is starting to bud out. It looks like they're all gonna take, or at least a majority of them will take. Like out of the what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goji berries, looks like 5 of them are going to take. It's just that one right there that's not taken. And I really like how the Texas dad puts it over the Texas boys, and this is their food 401k. You know, you need to build a food 401k. And it's basically, you know, the way I like to think about it, it's renting a property or owning it, or creating a rental income for yourself. This is a residual income in food that I plant once. I manage it just a little bit, and then it'll feed us forever. Because if you think about it, all we have to do is say this goji berry bush grows out, okay, and it's not producing enough goji berries for us. All we have to do is come with our clippers, clip some off, put it in some rooting hormone, put it in a pot, wait for it to grow up, and next thing you know, we have more goji berries. The same thing with all this stuff on this table here. Why? It's very easily propagated, or it's propagatable. Not very good at English. Is propagatable a word? It's more propagated. I like propagatable. I like that word. I think I'm gonna keep using that. These are propagatable plants. You know what? I just might have invented a word, and I'm okay with that. But this is the stuff that I like to grow. It's planted once, propagated if you need more, and kind of leave it, mulch it and leave it. I'm in for that. And most of the stuff that is perennial ends up being healthier for you. Why? Because their roots are able to go down much deeper and root up a lot more. They're able to tap into the minerals that are much deeper in the ground, rather than just, say, like a tomato plant to where it grows only maybe this much in the ground. I mean, it'll just take the minerals from the topsoil, and that's about it. Perennials, they're able to go down and mine minerals deep, and I feel like it's healthier for you. And that's why I've invested so much time with the lane that we have for the cows. It's 1,000 feet, 1,000 feet, almost on the nose. Well, if you add in the gates and stuff, it's more like 1,100 feet. But it's 1,000 feet, and we're going to plant on both sides of the land. We're going to do the same thing on my dad's property across the way. We're going to do the same thing on this side of the farm. But that's just on that side alone. That's 2,000 linear feet, if you want to call it, of permaculture orchard, food forest, whatever. It's something that we're going to use to drive on, you know, so we're not driving on the pasture, and we're going to turn into, hopefully, like a green belt on both sides of just tons of food. We've planted apple trees, peach trees, pear trees, pomegranate trees, blueberries, raspberries, gooseberries, blackberry. I mean, you name it, we're planting it out there. And as long as it's a perennial, I'm in. It's just, I think it's a better way to go about things, because look at the world right now. With a lot of people wanting to do more stuff like this because of just the nature of the world and the supply chain, seeds are kind of coming at a premium right now. A lot of places are out. Some have very few or just a very select variety. Here, imagine if we were able to get this started, say 10 years ago. We would basically never have to go to the grocery store, and I'm 100% for that. So what I'm doing today is that we've been saving seeds. We eat a lot of apples. We've been saving seeds out of all the apples that we've been eating over the past couple weeks, and we have quite a few of them now, and some of them you can see are starting to want to germinate. And these are just apples from the store. So instead of going and spending money on apples from the store, I want to plant these seeds. Hopefully they grow out, and then we can just get apples from, you know, outside. Oh, you know what? Hey, we need 4 apples a day. Instead of going to the grocery store and buying them, just walk out to the field when we're moving the cows, pick them, and we're good. By the way, on apple seeds, I know you need the cold stratify them, you know, where they need to be chilled for, you know, was it 800 hours or something like that in order for them to sprout. Most of the apples in the stores have been chilled for more than 800 hours, so they're really ready to go once you prop them in soil, just from everything that I've read and everything that I've watched. So just a little tip. So what are we going to be planting today? It's going to be quite a bit, and we're just going to get these started and then be able to put them all around the farm. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, perennials are great, but those are mostly just fruits and berries and stuff. No, not necessarily. Look at this thing right here. This is I ordered these off of eBay. This is some good King Henry Spinach. So instead of having to plant spinach every year to where, you know, you go and you have to drop the seed in and, you know, you harvest it, and then once the frost hits it kind of dies back and then it doesn't last the whole year. This spinach right here, it's different. This tastes almost exactly like the spinach that you get from the store. Little slight little differences, but it's a perennial spinach to where, you know, we got only a handful of seeds here, and we're gonna grow them out. We'll be able to plant them all throughout the farm. Guess what? Next year, do we have to plant spinach? No. All we have to do, go harvest it. That's it. It's so much less work. See, I'm the type of person that if you need something done more efficiently, you want to talk to me about it. Why? Because I'm lazy. I don't like to do extra work. I'll do the work that's needed. I'll do the work that do it right. But if you're asking me to do extra work, nah. Why? It's just not the way I operate. So I'd rather go, okay, you got 25 seeds in here. This gives us 25 good King Henry spinach plants. And I think these have been cold stratified as well. I'm going to plant them out, say half of them germinate. Great. So we got 12. Now, this year, we'll be able to harvest the spinach. Then come fall time, probably it grows and grows and grows. If we want more, say we need more spinach plants, we can just go and propagate that, do a little cutting or kind of root up around there, go plant it somewhere else. We have more spinach that we never have to plant again. I mean, genius. And that's the same thing for everything that we're doing here. We got sea kale. This is something different. It's a type of kale that comes out of I think it's like Ireland, Scotland, to where it grows kind of on the sea, but it's a kale that is a perennial kale. Instead of having to plant just like the spinach over and over and over again, plant it once, come back and harvest it. Maybe prune it a little bit, throw some mulch underneath it. Now we have a different type of kale, but kale that you only have to plant once. And here's the same thing for like the if you want to call it the allium family. We got garlic chives. You have to plant garlic every year. Garlic is kind of perennial, but you still gotta, you know, propagate it. These garlic chives do the same thing as garlic, and they'll spread for you. They'll bunch for you. They'll do everything garlic needs to do for you. A lot easier to plant. It grows like a weed, and now we have our garlic. These right here are pretty cool. These are called Egyptian walking onions, and I bought a little bit of them, but the people, they sent me a lot, and this is really cool. What these are onions. These are legitimate, you know, they're smaller onions, but they're a lot more powerful. You smell them, you go, whoa. You can get probably anywhere from a quarter, maybe even half an onion out of one of these little bulbs, like, you know, regular big onions that you get from the store. So you only need a little bit of this. And these here, they're called Egyptian walking onions because what they'll do is they'll sprout. Okay, we'll take off this one right here, so I can show you. So I'm gonna plant this just like this, and this is gonna sprout. It's gonna come up and it's gonna do like an onion, like a garlic chive green plant. What's gonna grow on top of it is this. This is the plant is gonna get so heavy to where it bends over, and next thing you know, these will sprout. It's gonna grow and do the same thing. It kind of goes up, over, and they come back year after year after year after year. And you can harvest the actual onion underneath the ground. I wouldn't do that. You can harvest the, you know, the chives part, or you can harvest this and actually just cut these up and cook like you would normal onions from the grocery store. You just don't have to use as much. They're small, they're powerful, and they come back every year. I think this is the future right here. It's not, oh, you know, it's onion planting season. Oh, and onions will only grow till the solstice, and when the days start getting shorter, you know, you got to harvest your onions because they're not going to grow anymore. No, these will keep growing as long as it's you know, the temperature's up. These will keep growing for you. This is the future right here. This is supply chain, you know, independence, if you want to call it that. This is a food 401k. This is I would basically call this security. I just feel like it's a different, more sustainable, more regenerative way of farming. Sure, you can go get some tomato seeds and plant them, and we'll do that. We'll do that because why not? But wouldn't it be great if, you know, you only had to plant tomatoes once, and then year after year they came back? They don't do that. I mean, you can harvest the seeds and replant the seeds, but you have to go through the process all over again. But something like this right here, this is called, ooh, this is anise. This is a herb. This is it tastes like licorice. I actually had this when I was a real little baby. My parents told me because I would colic. This right here in a tea. Don't know exactly how they did it, but it made me stop doing it. So we're gonna be growing this. This is real beneficial because the pollinators love this stuff, and it's real easy to grow. It's real easy to propagate, and we can just, you know, use it every single year. Before we get to planting, I have one more thing coming today in the mail. I hope it gets here. Hopefully the mail comes soon so I can show it to you guys and put it in this video. Something called a Chinese yam. Now, these are different, and it's similar to, some of you in Georgia and Florida are probably going to cringe when I say this, but it's similar to an air potato. It's not an air potato at all. It's an actual, it's an actual yam that you plant it in the ground, and it'll grow up and it'll vine. It's not like a potato or a sweet potato to where it just goes on the ground and, you know, covers, and then when you harvest it you have to dig up the potato or the sweet potato. No. What happens is it acts like a grape, and it'll grow on a trellis, and it produces potatoes. They're about this big. And you can either seed those out or you can eat them like you would a regular potato. And then it comes back every single year. Yeah, could you harvest the actual, you know, Chinese yam roots, you know, where it'd be the actual potato? Yeah, but why would you do that when it produces a ton? I mean, a ton of little potatoes that are growing all over. You know, put this all over your fences. You don't have, there's no digging involved. There's no replanting involved. Just go pick it like you would grapes, and you have potatoes. You have your starch. So if you look hard enough, you got, you know, your fruit perennials and apple seeds. You get your onions. You get your leafy greens. You have your, this is rosemary here that I just picked this up because why not? And we're going to be planting a bunch of this. You have your herbs, perennial herbs. You never have to plant it again. Berries, figs, yada yada yada. Now, does this take more time in order for it to pay off? It's not the instant gratification of like radishes where in like a month they're ready to go. Of course it does. You know, with trees it takes years for them to produce fruit. But when you look at the time to work scale, you know, when you're doing something like tomatoes, okay, it's a continuous amount of work all the way through. Now when you're talking about perennial stuff, it's a lot of work in the beginning, but as time goes on, I mean, it goes to basically nothing, and you can just walk away from it. The roots go deep enough to where you rarely have to water it, and then the only thing that you have to do Just go and harvest it. It's so simple. So enough of me talking. Time to plant these things, and just put this on time lapse, and we'll go from there. Now I know a lot of you are saying if you grow apples from seed, they're not going to be the same variety that that you bought or that they came out of, and I know that, and that's okay, because what I just want to do is I want to get a bunch of apple trees started, and then what we'll do is once they grow up a little bit to, you know, maybe about 10 to 12 inches tall, we'll end up grafting them. We'll end up, you know, taking a cutting from another apple tree and grafting it onto this apple tree that we have growing in this little red solo cup here. So I know that, it's what I expect it, and it's just a really easy and super cheap way to propagate a bunch of trees. Because if we want to do, see, we're going to end up probably doing between 5,000 and 6,000 feet of trees, and you know, if you do a tree every, you know, 10 feet or so, that's a lot of trees going for around, you know, anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks a tree. That's a lot of money. And this is just a side project. This is just something for us. Now I get it, if you're an orchard, you might want to just go and, you know, buy a bunch of trees right off the bat. But when you can take an apple, eat the apple, you know, and pay for the apple, and get, I don't know, maybe 7 to 9 seeds out of each apple, you know what? I'll do that all day long, because these trees here, we're in no rush for it necessarily, because we do have some apple trees that should start producing either this year or next year, and that'll be enough for us. But we just want a lot, just because in case, you know, a deer gets to the tree or something happens, it dies or whatever. We want 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet of trees and shrubs and everything. That's supply chain independence right there. Why? Because what happens if the truck from wherever the apples come from, you know, a lockdown happens or a shutdown happens or something? Doesn't matter, we can just go pick our own apples. Well, that was a lot more apple seeds than I thought we had. That's 55 apple seeds planted, so hopefully that is 55 apple trees, which is still not anywhere near as many as we need. If all those grow up, I don't think they all will, let's say they all grow up, we still need like triple or almost quadruple that amount for as much as we're going to be planting. So hopefully this works. This is a good start. Let me show you something else too. This right here is a little pet project that I have going on. This is another Arbequina olive tree that I bought off of the internet. Last year I planted some olive trees around, well, I think it was actually 2020, like December of 2020. I was planting some olive trees, and was planning on growing those up, planning on putting them all in the driveway and everything, but had a problem. Snowpocalypse happened and killed them off. So we're trying it again. We're just getting a little one. We're going to keep it in the greenhouse to have it protected, and kind of go from there, because I really want to see if we should be able to grow olives here in our zone. We're like we're not even on the fringe, but when the snowpocalypse happens and we go like, what was it, 2 or 3 zones down from where we should be, that's an issue. Now next up, let's work with the sea kale, because these seeds we actually have to do something with. And what we have to do is take the seed and we actually have to break it out of its shell, because the way that this seed works is this is kind of like a corky kind of outer, you know, shell, and it's supposed to float along the ocean and then pop up somewhere, you know, years later, and then grow along the side of the ocean. But in order for that to, in order for it to grow like now, we have to break it out of there because this will eventually disintegrate as it's floating along. So what we're going to do is just kind of gently, well, not so gently, but there he is. There he is, right there. There's the seed. So we're going to just take the seed and plop it into our little pot, makeshift pot. We're going to do it again because if you were just to plant this seed like this, it'd probably take anywhere from at least 3 to maybe 5 years for it to germinate. So you just have to come and break it. Uh-oh. That might have been the seed in there. Well, that was no good. See, sometimes you get duds. That's okay. But that's why if just one of these grows, we can propagate this into what will end up being thousands of seeds. So we'll see if that works. Put that in there. And hopefully do better with the other ones. Because we only have a few of them. Because they're actually pretty hard to find. See, there we go. That's a good seed right there for sure. This is like they're calling this an ancient plant because it's been around so long. And hopefully we can bring this back to where, you know what, if you want kale, just plant it one time. And there we go. Look, there's a seed. Move to the side. Ta-da! Done. So with that, I think I'm going to go in, change a little bit because it's getting hot in the greenhouse and I'm wearing a sweatshirt. So I'm going to go probably just finish planting the rest of these. And then hopefully this grows up into something that we can plant all throughout the farm, harvest forever, sticks around to where we don't have to go and keep replanting, because 6,000 feet of garden, that's not, that's not sustainable to be growing tomatoes and cucumbers and, having to prune and having to do this. If you had a crew, then maybe, but this is not something that we're looking to, really make a lot of money on. If and when the orchard starts growing big time, then, 6,000 feet of, apples and pears and peaches and, all this stuff. That's gonna be like way more than we could ever eat in a lifetime. So then we might do like a U-pick thing, but that's way down the road. And that this is something that I can maintain myself. This is something that I can go and, just take care of and hopefully grow out to be something pretty cool, something pretty special, and create a whole permaculture orchard, food forest, whatever you want to call it. And then it's just to have peace of mind for, to make sure that we have food security for years and years and years and years to come. So with that, hit that subscribe button down below, ring the notification bell so you get notified when we put up new videos. Hit the like button, because what the like button does, it helps boost our videos up in the YouTube algorithm so more people like you can see it. And drop a comment if you like. Alright, until next time. See ya. Bye.